feel like sometimes life is really mental.
Dude, that's actually a really good name for a podcast.
Even when you lose all hope, you go deeper than you've gone. Hold on till you can't no more. It's really mental.
Everyone came from different countries, so it was like 4 from Russia, 3 from Korea, 4 from UK, and like 2 from America, and we all just became as a huge big family.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Really Mental Podcast. Today we are going to be talking to Sofya Plotnikova about her journey with faith and with happiness. Please tune in, give us a like, and you can follow us on Spotify, listen on Apple, Amazon, and any other platform where you listen to podcasts. I wanted to ask you, Will, straight off the bat, how has your journey with faith been?
Definitely. Well, first of all, I'm really excited to have Sofya on. She's an amazing person. We had an amazing chat. My journey with faith, honestly, throughout school, I think that I sort of turned away from the concept of a God and religion generally. It took me having lots of health complications in the last 2 years and almost feeling like my back was up against a wall with what life was throwing me to understand the word faith and then also what comes with that, which is, for some people, for me, it ended up being religion and God. And I think that faith generally is really important for people to possess. And it's really a muscle almost that you practice over time. The understanding that everything will be okay and everything will work out. And funnily enough, when I had my back up against the wall, I'm like, I've tried everything and I'm still not, really fully healthy. I just let go and had faith. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to trust that this is going to work out. And I had a conversation with a friend where he's religious, he's into God. And that really changed my perspective on God and religion. And I guess one thing that I want to pass on to you all listening is that you never know when something is going to happen that's really going to change your perspective. So just make sure you keep an open mind going into every day. After that conversation, I really started getting into religion and God and sort of what that meant to me, which is my own relationship with God, with the Creator. So I'm really excited to have someone on like Sofya who's started at an earlier age. And I think hopefully you can sort of take away from that it is important to sort of have some belief that things are going to work out. And again, that could be the universe, that could be God. Harry and I aren't here to put our views onto you, only to learn with you. And so on this journey, that is something that I've been learning and really enjoying going through.
And I wanted to add on the back of that for Will, like, we're not telling you guys to be Christians, be Muslim, and to follow a religion at all. Like, I would say personally for myself, I don't actually attach myself to any religion, but I love the idea of believing that there's something bigger than yourself because that allows you to put your faith in someone else's hands and kind of like allow yourself to just be, which will stop you from stressing out all the time. And I think that's a big part of the importance of faith and importance of believing there's something higher than yourself.
Yes. I used to spend time just like thinking that it was just on me, that had to carry sort of the worry of, and what's going to happen next. But I think when you put that to something higher, that sort of evaporates. So with that in mind, we're going to welcome our very special guest and friend, Sofya. And really excited for you to hear this conversation. Make sure you follow us on all socials. Bye.
Hey everyone, just want to let you know we have an Amazon AMP show with amazing guests similar to the podcast. Please go check it out on the Amazon AMP app and follow us at Really Mental. We're going to be hosting our show on Sunday at 7 p.m. PT and 10 p.m. ET. We'll see you there. If you were to describe yourself in 3 words, what would that be?
It's very hard because I think, not like I can talk much about myself, but I know that I have so much inside. Like, I would say maybe love. There are some people that calls me Sofya Love, full of love, because I give everyone hugs. I can't stop talking about how important to love each other. And then I think happiness, because I'm always happy. And this is something I think it's like a blessing, like at anything I look in my life, I look at this with a positive way. Maybe explosion. Is that how you say explosion? Yeah, like because
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person, and every time if something happens, I'm like, wow, or like I cry, or I'm very happy. So it's like, yeah.
And for people who happen to not know you, maybe they haven't been on the internet much,
Yeah.
could you describe a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Sofya. I'm 19 years old from Russia, and I am part of Now United, which is a pop group that is made from 18 kids from 18 different countries. We started with 14, but then more people joined us. So we all sing, we dance, we travel around the world, and our producer is Simon Fuller. He created Spice Girls, American Idol, like he produced Victoria Beckham, like he's a really cool guy, and I'm honored to work with him right now. So I based in Los Angeles. We come together, we train, then we travel around the world, do our shows. But with pandemic, like it's been a while. I've been home, but yeah, I mean, like I live here, but I travel a lot now.
I wanted to delve into this area because I know you mentioned it with the pandemic. How did it feel like being so busy for so long and then just randomly having like a drop off due to coronavirus?
It's been very hard for, I think, all of us, and for those who are traveling a lot, for those who are working like outside of their countries, home countries. It's been very depressing. And at that time, I'm like, I'm gonna be really honest. I broke up with my first ever boyfriend, which was like really painful, like right before the pandemic started. So I was like crying all days long, not being able to see my friends, just alone in the bed. And I was like, this is the worst thing that could happen in me in life. But then, like 5 months later, I think we all, with the group Now United, we all came together again, and it was like a good trip. It was 4 months in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Like it was very long. Like we didn't expect that. We were told it's going to be like 2 weeks. So then I think since then we started traveling a lot to UAE, since it's like safe. Everyone wears masks there. Everyone is vaccinated. Like it's good to be there, and we trained a lot, so we kept doing things. And in these 4 months we filmed like 12 music videos, over 50 dances, and like it's been very busy. So I felt like first part of pandemic was like it hit me very hard, but then everything just was great.
Wow, that sounds like an eventful time during COVID. I sort of think about Harry and I, and like we were still doing stuff, but definitely in Australia, everything was restricted. Like I'm from Melbourne, and we were on the longest lockdown, and it makes me think, damn, that actually sounds good. The traveling part, of course, breaking up with your first boyfriend, partner, for anyone, it's always really tough. So I'm sure that would have been hard. Is it weird with your friends, because are your friends in entertainment, or do you just have friends that are at like uni and stuff, university?
I can't say I have many friends, honestly. So I have like a few here in Russia. They're not like performers, they're not artists, they don't do anything. But there's a few also that are artists, and I'm quite close to them because we met each other before I joined the group Now United, and before they came like became famous here. So like we have this good friendship, good connection. But most of my friends are probably from the industry,
Yeah.
which is like it's cool, but at the same time, I'm sometimes like, I wish we didn't have this in common. Like, I want to have a like normal life sometimes, and I think this is what normal people bring this. And like, when you're working at the same things, in some way, you might feel competitive, and you're like, oh, she does it better than me, or like he dances good, and like I want to do the same. You know, like I don't like this feeling, like jealousy, but you
Yeah.
get it, which is normal. So like, you always have to fight it. So yeah.
What are some things you do to like fight that jealousy? Because I know in basically every industry and anything that people do, there's always competition and you're always comparing yourself to other people. How do you deal with that?
So I'm going to start with Russian ballet. I've been doing it quite a long time ago, but for a while. So I've been dancing my whole life. I tried so many styles, and then when I came to ballet school, which I don't know if you know, but Russian ballet, it's like everyone says that it's like the hardest one, it's the strictest one, which is true because they say many horrible things to you, like trying to motivate you by that, but like you don't feel motivated, like you feel broken, like they say that you're shit, that there's nothing in the future for you, that you're like, we don't understand what you're doing here, like they're saying many horrible things to you to try to like motivate you, which is like I don't want to be motivated by this. Like, I don't want you to be mean to me, like for anything, for what, like for what. And they would always say that I'm fat, like I had to be smaller. But the thing is that ballet loves like anorexics, or how do you say it, like when very skinny girls, and like they have to be tall, and which is like also not normal. But then you look at like the result and you're like, wow, I would never be like them. So I was doing it for a while just for myself to learn more about ballet. But then this is what I felt a lot in Russian ballet, is that like, I need to lose weight to be like her, like I was writing down so many things, like how to improve, how to lose weight, how to eat less. Like sometimes I just look like back and I'm like, what was I doing? Like, it's just crazy. Like it's not how it should be. So then when I joined Now United, I've seen girls that were like in a very good shape, and they all are like skinny, cute girls. And then like I had my like teenager time when you just get fat from nowhere, you're just like blown up. And I had to struggle with that so much. I was like, I can't believe that is happening to me. I came from ballet and I was like very like small and everything, and now like I got weight and I don't know what to do with that. And then I started comparing myself so much, like I was crying and I was talking to them. But I think the best thing about that is when you communicate with people that you feel jealousy about, like you should go to them and ask
Yeah.
if they can give you an advice, talk to them about this, like what do they eat? Maybe you can like adjust something in your life, so I think the best thing is not to hate them, but actually come and get to know them better, so then maybe you can get something for yourself.
I think that's really smart and mature. I want to
Mhm.
take it back to you growing up before we get too in depth about the recent years for you. So when did you start ballet, and what was your life like as a teenager?
Yeah, so I've been dancing my whole life, and I'm very lucky to have my big, good family. They all like were taking care of me. So I have brother and sister. They have already families. I have 16 and a half years difference with my sister and 14 years with my brother. So
Whoa.
when I was growing up, I felt like I had second parents, because they also were asking for me, like, Mom, Dad, I want a little sister. So when I was born, like they would take me everywhere, show me everyone. So I felt so much love. Like I was growing up in a very kind and good family. So then my mom was taking me to like swimming stuff, like in the pools, and then I
Yeah.
was trying dancing, and then I was trying singing, and then acting, and then I don't know how if you have this in either in Australia, but in Russia we have it quite often, when you learn like poems and then you read them.
Oh, what would that be called?
Not like you're writing, like not like you're creating it, but you're just like creating it with like emotions, and then you go on competitions and you read them.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
we really have it
I don't
here,
Yeah.
but I
so.
understand what
Okay.
you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so many kids are actually doing that here in Russia, like, which is interesting that you don't really have it. But
Yeah.
anyways, I was doing like so many things, and then I think at one moment I was like, no, I want to do dancing for sure. Like this is something that helps me to put all of my emotions in, because I'm like such an active person. Like I talk fast. I don't know. I'm like I cry, then I get happy. I'm like my life never stops, and I was like, no, dancing exactly what I need. So I started with like folk dance, which is Russian dance, and then I did international dance also. And then I started doing more like contemporary, jazz, modern, something that is like more about your inside world, I would say. And I found it quite interesting for me. But I was like 9 years old, and I still got this connection. I was like, no, this is like actually fun. Like I really like to like just go in like in another world and just do whatever you want. So yeah, and after that I went to a ballet school. It was quite difficult. I was losing friends like during this whole time, because I felt like I was changing schools. I was moving from one industry to another. So when I was in ballet school, I totally felt alone, and like going through all of this like pressure, it was very hard. But then I was just always believing in the best, and my parents were always supporting me. And then one day my dad came and he said, I can't look at you crying every day after this like dance classes. Like I'm done with it. And he just took me away from this school.
How old were you when you left?
I was 14, and then I got an idea that I want to go to LA. And I was like, they have the best dance studios, they have the best choreographers. Like, I need to go there. I kept saying it, and my mom was like, well, yeah, maybe one day, but you need visa, and like traveling is quite far and it's expensive. Like, everything just didn't work out. But I just kept saying, like, no, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. And like in 2 months, I've got an email from Simon Fuller asking if I want to audition for his new project. And first I was like, nah, that's like too good, like Hollywood, Simon Fuller, so many projects. Like, I can't believe that. And then I just kept looking through and I was like, yeah, sure, like, why not? Let's just take a part in this project. And then they kept me asking for like many videos, pictures, dancing, singing stuff. So I just had to send them. And then one day they said, well, you made it in 10. I was like, oh, what do you mean? And they're like, we're going to come to Russia and choose from 10 or like 12 of you, I think. Only 4, those who are going to go to Los Angeles to audition. So I was like, oh my God, like, I actually made it. I have to push through so that I can go to LA. Like, it doesn't matter how the project is going to end up. I just need to make it to LA. And then they came. Simon wasn't here, but they were auditioning us, and I had to practice in singing because I still was focused more on dancing, and I had to learn how to do hip hop and like jazz funk and different style of dance, which is completely different for me. And I was like, how do you do that? And me, after like a ballet studio with a straight back, I'm like, I can't bend, mom, like, I don't know what to do. So then after auditioning us, like in a few weeks time, they called me and they said, you made it in 4 and you're going to Los Angeles in like 3 months. So I started getting ready, preparing, and practicing, like training a lot. And then especially my English, like right now I feel comfortable talking it, and even
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, how do you say this word? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But by that time, oh my, I was crying. I was struggling about this the whole time because I couldn't speak properly and I couldn't understand people. And everyone speaks very fast and la 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 la. And I'm like, mom, I don't understand. I'm not going to make it just because of my English. She's like, calm down. You're going to be good. And I went to Los Angeles, and after a week of audition, they picked so everyone came from different countries. So it was like 4 from Russia, 3 from Korea, 4 from UK, and like 2 from America. So many countries. It was like around 40 of us, I think. And we all just became as a huge big family, and I never felt that connection. I was like, this is what I really like about international friends, is that they're so different. Like the way how you connect, it's like it's very different. Like it's very hard to find similar friendship here back home. So I was already like sticking to them. I was like, I don't want to leave. Like this is like what I really like about them, is that everyone gives you good advices, everyone is kind, no one screams, no one compares you to anyone. Like we just had so much fun. And but the trainings, like everything was crazy. Like I think usual auditions like 6 a.m. like you have to be awake, makeup ready, interviews, photo shoots, dancing, singing classes. And then Simon looks like at us the whole time and cameras are around. And then after a week time, Simon came and he was like, okay, I'm going to make a choice now. From 40 of you, I'm going to choose 11. And we're like, oh, we're gonna die right now. Everyone was freaking out. But he picked 14 because he liked more people from other countries. And then just the best life started.
That seems like been an insane journey.
Yeah.
I was like imagining what it would be like to be in that room with 40 people and only to pick 14.
Mm-hmm.
How that would feel, just like the amount of stress and anxiety.
Yeah, but what I really liked about the whole audition thing, I think compared to ballet school, like this is what I was so grateful after to this hard period in life, is that it actually showed me the difference, like between cultures, between the way how you can teach, the way how you can talk about stuff. Instead of saying how bad you are, you can actually say how good you are, even though like that you're not, like you haven't done your best. It's going to be on you. Like you want to push yourself because you want it. I mean, like I can't say bad things about my culture, my country, and I do love it. I do love it to be here, but ballet is something that I think I would never understand. Like it's just broken lives and everything. So I was really happy to experience different life, and I think I'm here in a good part now.
The thing I love about doing this is that we always hear different stories, and and unique paths, that probably has to be one of the most unique stories we've had so far. And I mean, it's beautiful that it worked out. First of all, how old were you when you went for that audition?
I was the youngest one from like all like 38 or 40 people. I was 14.
Wow.
And yeah, so I joined and like in a few months I turned 15.
Do you feel like, your childhood and all that time as a teenager, did you feel a lot of pressure? Or do you think being young meant you were sort of naive to maybe some of the, weight you could put on your shoulders from an audition like that?
I can definitely say that I am a naive person. Like till now, like I can't change it, unfortunately.
You just went with it?
Yeah, I just accept it.
Yeah.
I live with it. I mean, I think it's a good part actually when you have this like pressure, because I like when it's challenging. I like when it's hard. And I remember that I was struggling a lot being back home. I was like, no, this is not exactly what I want to do. And I was very lost. Like when you're 14, 15 years old, this is when you're actually like thinking about your future. You go to college or like high school. Yeah. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life, and the answer just came like that. So I was like, I have to take it no matter how hard it's gonna be. So with all of these auditions, and like, yeah, it was definitely very stressing, but I was so happy my mom came with me. So she went to Los Angeles, and she, like, my whole family were supporting me the whole time, so I felt like I'm not alone, and no matter what happens, I'm gonna be with them. And like, if I don't get into the project, now I know what I can do, like how big Simon is, and like he looked at me, he found me, so it means something. So I was just always like trying to keep my mind as like, just be the best for yourself, like be the best version of yourself, like keep working hard. But it was definitely very hard, like the whole process. I think it was pressure. Like they're looking at you, they're filming you the whole time, they're like, they want to know you from, how do you say, like from here to down, like
Top to bottom.
yes. From top to bottom. So but at the same time I was like, this should be like a blessing, like it should be like an amazing great project. I can't just let it go, like I have to try my best. And being in Los Angeles for the first time, I don't know, it just gave me so much motivation. So I just kept being myself, working hard, and yeah, it worked out.
That's awesome. For kids, and maybe they're, going through their teens now, or maybe, they're a bit older. What advice would you give for stepping outside of your comfort zone? Because your whole childhood seems like you just went for it. How did you foster that, and what advice would you have?
I think because we all have very different lives, it's very hard to say something like personally. I can definitely say that I'm very blessed, and I'm glad that I have such a good family and everyone helped me to overcome everything. But I can definitely say that no matter what, like teachers say, like tell you when you're like in a classroom and they say how bad you are, I think it's very important to try maybe to understand like what's behind it. Then I found out that the teacher that was telling me all of that, she lost her mom and dad when she was like 13, and she was growing up alone, and she was like always struggling also with food, because they've like teachers forced her to not eat. And I was like, all of this pain comes from like your own life, and like there's nothing like to do with me, but you just can't put this anchor anywhere else. So I'm always trying to be the person who tells you something bad, or like try to understand, like look at the situation with a different point of view. And I know it's very hard to say like just be happy, like keep dreaming and blah blah blah, but this is like the only thing I can say right now, because I was like, I kept dreaming a lot, and I was just telling myself, believing in a good future, that like everything is gonna work out, and somehow it did. So I think it's like, just don't be not showing yourself, like be confident and patient.
That's really interesting. I think that's really great advice. How have you, I know you talk about happiness a lot and dreaming and all these different types of things. Like, have you always been like that since you were like a kid?
I think so, honestly. So I would say again about my family, because so we're Christian, and my parents became like, they came to church like a few years before I was born. So they keep saying that when my mom was 36, I think, she gave a birth to me, and everyone was saying like it's crazy. Like at the time when they were growing and like growing their kids. Everyone was saying that 36 is too late to have kids, and like you should not do that, it's too crazy. But my mom always wanted like to give like she wanted to thank God with my dad for what they received from him, like the blessing, that like happiness, like they can spread good like vibes around, you know. So I think when I was born, it was like a blessing for them, but because they were waiting for me for so long, it was like insane much of love. And I think this is what actually gave me this like happiness, like what gives me who, this is what makes me who I am right now, you know, like growing up in such a loving, great family. Like I can't remember when my dad or mom would be very angry at me. Like they were very chill about everything. So yeah, I'm sure that it's all comes from, it's like a God blessing.
How has faith influenced your life?
Since I was like small, like young, I went to church with my parents and everything. So I never really had like a moment when I was like, I don't believe in God, and then I became a Christian, you know. So I was always like on this path, which I'm very grateful for. So I can definitely say that even like when I was auditioning for Now United, I was always thinking that God has a plan for me. It's like just even a thought that gives you like this faith, like it makes you feel that everything is already worked out for you, you know, like you should not be worried. Like it doesn't mean you just have to sit on your bed and just waiting for something to happen. No, like you have to work very hard, like you have to push. And yeah, like life can be very, very hard, and I know that not everyone has same situations. Like some people don't have parents, some people can't afford that much money to fly somewhere, you know. But I'm sure that God has a plan for each of us, and because he says that we're all unique, so I think we should take it more personal and like projected on your life. So I can definitely say that God helped me a lot.
Love that. That's beautiful. And I've got a question for Harry off of that. Harry, how has your journey with faith been? Yeah, where are you at with your faith at the moment?
I think it's really interesting. And I was going to say this generally, like, no matter what religion you believe in or what your views are on life, I think that the idea of faith and believing that there's something greater than you is really important, because it allows you to feel secure, and it allows you to know that everything will work out for a reason and there is a plan for you, regardless of the religion, regardless of the views. I think that area of faith is really important in helping with your mental health, helping with your everyday life and all those different types of things. So that's like my view on it. And like I definitely found that communities, when they do have that sense of faith, are much more happy and are much more content with life than those that don't necessarily have that
framework.
Yeah, the framework. And that's not saying like you have to be Christian, you have to be Muslim, you have to be any of these religions. It's just saying like that belief that like everything will happen the way it's going to happen. I think that that's really important.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What about you, Will?
It's funny Sofya mentioned, you know, religion and Christianity. It's something I've found recently. I was always going to church during school, but it was very much just because like it was just on my timetable. So I was like, okay, I'm going there. And I don't think I've really was at a point where I was ready to like take that in as a kid. But recently, having found it, a friend like introduced me back into like church and God and Christianity. I'm always questioning like purpose and why am I here, and always thinking about these things, of these existential things around even simple tasks like making music, you know, why do these things happen? And so I think with that, I've always been on a spiritual journey, and just recently I've really followed the feeling around and security that I've found through God and like through faith. In the world, there's a lot of perceptions and, you know, different talk around religion and stuff. But I think that the best way to tell is just follow what your heart says and like be open. And I think that's the one thing probably throughout my whole journey recently with spirituality and faith is like I've just kept an open heart to everything and tried things. I tried Buddhism, and you know, just personally for me, I was just like felt like there was something else that was calling me, and you know, I think I found that. So yeah, it's awesome to hear Sofya talk about it, because I think that it's so crucial for times when we're in the unknown. Do you feel as though you have a good level of security at the moment, Sofia, or do you feel as though life's a bit unstable, with everything happening around the world?
I think life is always going to be not stable. It's going to be very complicated, confusing, and there's always going to be unknown. And that's what, like, you can't change. It's not under your control. So this is what I also realized for like myself recently, especially being with Now United, because you never know what's going to happen next, where we're going to go, when, like, we can get a notice, like, call, like, few days before we fly somewhere. Like, overthinking about this stuff is gonna make you go crazy. So this is when I realized that this is when I need to trust God and just give him everything. Like, when you just say that I gave my life to someone who's gonna take care of it, like, life is so much easier now. Like, everything is under control and everything happens for the reason. This is what, like, I always keep in mind for myself. This is what helps me to move on, that motivates me, inspires me. But it is very hard sometimes for me, because, like, I had like a little breakdown, I would say, not a long time ago, just because I was like, I'm tired of the phone, like, I'm tired of social media, like, I can't do that anymore. I'm just being home, and we weren't traveling for a while. I don't know what I want to do in life. As a normal human being, I get these thoughts, I get like this like upset feeling, and sometimes even family can help you with that, because this is like your inside fight, and you can't just like share it the whole time and just tell them, and they can't tell you what to do, because this is like your life.
What are some things that you were feeling and some of the thoughts you were having, and how did you deal with that?
For sure, I get like very bad like emotions and feelings, and then I'm like, I don't want to do anything in my life, like, I want to just stop social media, I'm just gonna delete everything, I'm gonna stop dancing, like forcing myself to do stuff that will not make me happy. But it's like, it's very weird, but I guess this is what you have when it's like an actual hard time for you, is like when you're fighting with yourself, like with your thoughts, and you have the voices in your head that like keep telling you like different things. And I think at that moments, what I learned for myself, what actually helps is talking to people. It's talking to those who you can trust. Like, I can't, let's say, I don't talk as much to my dad about like some feelings or like emotions as like I talk to my mom, just because I know that she would take it with a different way. And my dad is like, no, that's gonna be all right. Like, he's saying everything like it's gonna be fine. And sometimes I just want someone to say, yeah, it's actually very, very bad. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yes, yeah, I get
Like,
that.
yeah, because you don't want to get only good comments, like only good advices for people. Sometimes you just want them to be around you.
Yeah,
So if you find like this, how do you say, like a pill, not like a pillow, but someone that you can just talk to, and they don't even need to answer.
Yeah, and I think with that, it's important to like meet people where they're at. I know for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I would constantly go to people to talk to them about stuff, but they didn't have the space to deal with that themselves. They would give advice instead of just listening. And I think that it's like understanding that not everyone can just listen, and there's certain people that can, and you need to meet people where they're at. You can't just like force them to just listen, because
Yeah,
obviously that's
exactly.
not fair on them. And I think that's really important as well.
sometimes when we communicate with people, need to be
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm not looking for advice before I say all these things. I'm just need to get this off my chest. And then it like makes it a completely different playing field.
Yeah.
When someone comes to me with stuff, sometimes I feel like, I question, is it enough for me to just listen? What feedback comes to mind? Or like, how can I relate it to my experience? So I feel like maybe when we communicate as people, we could do that more often than we do. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to have people around you that can listen and then can give you advice, and it can be two separate people, like two totally different human being. So
Yeah.
I think it's important when you have someone that you can just talk about everything, and like, don't even ask them for any advice, like, just ask them to listen. And it's great when you don't even have to say it, like, you just talk, and they're like, I get you, and that's it. And there are some people for sure that wants to give you an advice, and sometimes this is exactly what you need. Like, you keep maybe complaining about your life, how bad everything is, but sometimes it's like you just need to have like a good advice what to do next.
When you're traveling all the time and there's all these quick changes and like last minute things, how do you maintain relationships and friendships and things with people that are outside of Now United?
So when I started traveling with Now United, which was in 2017, Yeah. So I realized how many friends I have, which is totally not friends, because they would like wait for me to call them first, to text them. And I'm like, you don't know what I'm living right now. Like, my life is just, I'm too busy to answer my mom or to my dad. Like, I can't answer like every single friend. You have to understand that. So people would get other friends, and when I come back, they don't talk to me because they're like, well, you ignored me. Now it's my time to ignore you. I'm like, this is not how it works, you know? Which is good, you know. Then I have like only the best ones now. And so I think like inside of the group, it's very important to be honest, I think, because when you sometimes like get offended, or someone says that something about someone, and you hear that, and you just keep it to yourself, and then you have to live with it. And then I'm like, why you can't just go and talk straight to each other, you know? Like, it's normal to tell like people that you don't like something about them. Like, you can't just talk about them badly behind their back. So then like I see this friendship inside, and like I learn from it, and then I'm trying to keep my outside friends, like I stick to them as much as I can, because it's way harder to be apart than when you're like living together 24/7. Because then you can always communicate, you talk, you solve problems. But when there are people like in another countries waiting for you, waiting for your call, this is when you feel this responsibility, and you don't want to lose them, because you know that this is your people. But I'm glad that I don't have much of this fear, like I'm gonna lose someone, because I know they love them, they love me, and I love them. So like I do my best to stay in touch, but it's very hard sometimes.
Yeah, that must be really hard. And I guess that's part of the sacrifice of having the schedule you have, living the life you have. There's
Yeah.
trade-offs. And I think it's important for everyone listening to realize that with your dreams comes a cost. And obviously it's just means so much to you, your career. And I feel like, and Harry, tell me what you think, but I feel like you're always through life, I'm always trying to find the balance, and I think everyone is. Like, even mentors I have that are 50 or 60 years old and very successful people are still constantly adjusting, how they spend their time and stuff. So I think that's completely normal. What do you reckon, Harry?
Funny enough, I had a conversation with my friend yesterday because we went out to dinner, and we were talking about like teachers and like the people who we looked up to when we were kids, like, and we realized they're actually like the same as, like, they're just humans, but we put them on like a pedestal. And I think we constantly think that they're not struggling and they're not going through all these things as well. But everyone's still figuring it out. I don't think anyone is actually knows what they're doing with life. Like, I don't think no matter how old you are, how successful you are, like, people always experience doubts and they always experience those inner
Yes.
monologues and
Yeah.
thoughts. And I think that reminding yourself of that is really important, because no matter how successful someone is, no matter how rich they are, poor they are, how anything like that, they're all going through the same struggles and they're all comparing themselves. The thing is, there's always someone better than what you're doing. And if you compare yourself, you'll always find someone who's more
Yep.
successful, more wealthier, you know what I mean? All these things. So I think like the key is to try and like be content with yourself and like create the life that you want around yourself, if that makes sense.
And all the things we're talking about today, really come back to happiness, like even balance and stuff. How do you keep this happiness with what you're doing? I'm interested, Sofya, like Harry and I have been talking a lot about purpose recently, asking ourselves, why do we have these goals, and digging deep on that. When you think of what you want to achieve, where do you think that comes from? What legacy do you want to leave when this is all said and done?
I always think about like goal in life, for sure, and like goal in my. There are always going to be many little goals on your life. Like, this is what helps you to move on. Like, this is what helps you to, I guess, not stop. I think it's important to remember that the goal is like, it's not to be the best one. It's about to be the best for yourself, I guess, like for people, as I said, around you. I think for me it's very important to make like people around me happy. So this is, I'm like the happy one in the group. I'm like hugging everyone. Sometimes people are like, oh, we're so tired of your hugs. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. So I just keep trying to put it like to create a good vibe around everyone, because I think everyone needs it a lot, especially these times. Like, we all going through so much stress. So yeah, I think it's important just to make people happy around you, like no matter what industry you're in.
Are you happy deep down? Like, are you happy with yourself?
I want to say yes, but I'm sure that there's going to be things that I would not be happy about myself. Like I've done mistakes. I've been like not the best person. Like I probably betrayed people without really thinking or knowing about it. So when I think about like my inside world, I want to say that yes, I'm very happy. But the like thoughts that you get, like, oh, I'm not good at this, I haven't done this, and like you just start overthinking about everything that's happening around you. And then I like to stop for a second and just think that, okay, you can solve like each problem. It's just because like you're overthinking, just because your mind right now is not on the right place, like you're just somewhere else, you're just in a bad world. Remember the moment when you was dreaming about something. I was dreaming to go to Los Angeles. Like I really wanted to go out of Russia to learn something new, come back and maybe teach here. Like it was the biggest goal in life for like a few months. And then it literally happened, like it's everything is like what's happening in your mind, everything that's in your inside world. I'm sure that you can control it. So I can say that yes, I'm very, very happy. And like if you take Now United away from me, I can say that I'm gonna still be happy with people around me, like how they make me happy. So it's like this is all that matters, who you're surrounded.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think the big thing that I took out of what you said just then is gratitude and being grateful for all those little moments, big moments, and all the moments just in general. And like bringing yourself back to that place of gratitude, which I think is the hardest part. I really struggle with that and like thinking of things that I'm grateful for, even though it's been a wild journey.
We haven't really spoken much about this, which is sort of crazy, but at the same time, I feel we've just had a really good conversation around mental health, and that's really what we're here for. Yet, I also want to touch on Now United. Obviously, you have a huge community, fandom, a lot of supporters. Is it easy or difficult to grasp how many people love Now United, love you, whether it's online or at a show? Is that difficult? Because I know for Harry and I, and people we've spoken to, that is quite a tough thing to conceptualize. Even streams, it's like you get millions of streams, but what does that mean? How many people is that? Where's your head at with that?
So when I was talking to Simon first year, he was talking to all of us about the future of Now United, the future of this group. He said a few things that I couldn't believe in. He said that everyone is going to know Now United. There's going to be fans that are going to like move your bus, like fans who are going to run after you, fans that are not like they're just going to be crazy about you, like they want to see you as a group. They want to see you as personalities. They want to know everything about you. And I was listening to him and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, how? Like, I just couldn't believe myself as like, I don't like word famous or like popular, because it's like, yeah, people might know me, but like, I don't know what's gonna happen in a few years' time. I might become a very horrible person and then I don't want to be called famous or,
Yeah, I don't think so. Touch wood.
Thank you.
No.
I hope not. But yeah, it was very like dreamy, I just couldn't believe that it could actually happen to us. And then we became quite big in Brazil, and then after 2 years we were giving like our own show, which is like not just going on interviews and like concerts of someone, like it was our proper concert. And we had actually four of them, which was like around from like 2,000 to 10,000 people, like on each different shows. And we were like, what the hell is going on? Like we just couldn't believe that there are people going so crazy about us, because still on social media it's very hard to understand who is who. And like one person can send you like 10 comments and you think that, oh, it's 10 different people, but it's actually one person, and then like you get confused, like, so do I have fans or I don't? Like in the beginning I was like getting many messages from like same people, and I started recognizing them. I was like, oh, I know this one and I remember this one.
Exactly.
But then you don't meet them, so it's very, very hard to actually like to learn about them, like who are they. But then when you see them on from the stage, this is when you realize this is people, like they are who are listening to all of your songs, watch of all of your music videos, those who are supporting you in every single day, those who are sending you so much love. And like I know that I can come to my audience like and tell them like my dog died a while ago, and like I knew that they would support me. So I got so many messages just saying we're very sorry, like you're gonna go through this, it's fine. It's just the dog that I was growing up with from four
Oh,
years
I'm
old,
sorry.
which was, yeah, it was
I'm
like
sorry, that's
very,
sad.
very old. It was like 14 years, and it was like very hard. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe it's all happening to me again. Why I need to lose someone, you know? So I felt that way, and I told them how I feel, and I got so much support from them. And I wasn't really expecting it because I thought people would be like, oh, like not saying anything. It's just like you don't know what to say in situations like that. But they were very supportive, and everyone that I know here in Moscow, everyone called me. And then I feel like, yeah, probably it's like I give them, like I make them feel good around me, so they remember about me, so they want to make me happy when I'm sad. And yeah, talking about the performance, it's like being on stage and seeing so many people. I remember how we all cried after because we couldn't believe it's all happening to us. It's like insane, and people are clapping, they're screaming, they're like crying because of happiness, and you're like, wow, like I never thought I would get so much support. And sometimes I'm like, no, this is not happening to me. I can't believe, like, right now we're going to the world tour, and we're gonna have 10 cities. Oh, not 10 cities. I think 10 performances, maybe like 8 cities in Brazil. And then we're going to Portugal, and all tickets are sold out. It was like in weeks' time, everything was just done.
That's
And
insane.
in, yeah, like in Portugal, we're gonna have 2 shows for like 20,000 people and like 10,000 people.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
like, I can't believe it's actually happening to me. Like, I'm in this pop group, and when you're being like, you see them on social media, but you don't really understand how many there are of them, like, who are actually like ready to come watch you, support you. So I'm like very scared, but I'm very excited.
Do you have any cool fan encounters? Like any cool stories?
Yeah, definitely. I can find, like, I can think about a story. So we were in Brazil, and there was a fan that gave me a Bible in Portuguese, which was quite funny because everyone knew that I was Christian. It was like we always get like huge bags of different gifts, and I remember that we get like a few of us got really weird ones. Like for me, Bible was like, oh yeah, thanks, but it's like, isn't it like your Bible? Like it's not new. And someone gave me like a plush toy that like smells like a fan, and like so they probably slept with them, like they, like, I don't know, hugged them, kissed them. So they gave it to me, and I was like, oh, that's probably like from their heart, you know? Like, so the gift is always like the funniest part, because sometimes they give you something you don't expect, which is very cute, because then you're like, oh wow, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
I have a question around mental health. What do you wish people spoke more of when it comes to mental health?
I think being honest, it's not very common now. I think everyone likes to put these filters on, masks on, like we're nice, we're fun, like everything is great in my life. Like I do the same thing, honestly, not the whole time. I'm trying to be more honest, but this is what, like, I realized that I post always how happy I am, but then I'm like, I'm actually struggling today. Like, why do I need to say how like that everyone should be grateful for something, you know, when I don't feel that way today? So I think honesty is something we all need. But I think there are many, many things that right now, like people are talking about them on social media, like even about relationship and like abusing and all of this stuff. And I feel like it's something that is very, like, it's everywhere in the world. And like there's some news in Russia that I hear sometimes about like kids, and yeah, it's just like very crazy and scary. And then I'm like, I'm so sad that people don't talk much about like actual problems in the world, because everyone tries to make everything look great, but then like in each country they have like very like scary stories, you know? So I think it's
Yeah.
important just to be honest, but I think it's just keeping inside everything, it's not healthy.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think of this mindset. It's really interesting. So I was just thinking about it then as Sofya was speaking, with like sharing your experiences on social media and having an audience and like all these things for Will, me, all of us. Like, I think it's interesting to think about like the purpose of why you'd want to do it. I share those vulnerable moments not to get like sympathy out of anyone, not for anyone to go like, oh, are you okay? Blah, 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 blah. It's more so they can understand that like they're not alone, because we all experience the same things, and no matter like who you are, we all go through the same stuff. I think it's really hard when people feel like they're struggling alone and they're not in a place to like do anything about it because they feel like they're by themselves. And I think even with this project, making sure people feel like there's people around them, everyone is experiencing the same things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you have your soulmates, as soon as you find them, like as soon as you know that they are your people and they understand you, I think you should not be scared to talk about stuff. Like whatever you
Yeah.
have in your heart, like when there is a right time, you just should go and talk about this.
Sofya, what in the next 12 months are you wanting to work on, and what are your goals for the next 12 months?
I think I want to keep improving in singing since I started this quite a long time ago, but taking it that serious, it's been not a very long time. So I think I really want to sing more, maybe record a few own songs or something. Like I really want to like go deeper in this whole industry, like with music. And then I for sure like I want to keep dancing, keep moving, keep being active, just improving every year, become a better version of myself. And then I think something more about like traveling since I have lots of visas this year. I received so much from embassies. So I'm excited to travel around the world to meet more people. I think I really need connections. Like I'm the type of person, like I was reading a book, it was about 4 different types of people, like their behavior. And I'm the type that needs to meet new people, that needs to talk to different human beings. So I feel like I want to stick to like another group of people to keep talking to them, like get more friends around the world. This is what brings me happiness, I think, like talking to others.
And if you can work on one part of your mental health right now, what would it be?
It's very hard. There's so many things I would like to work on. I would say maybe accepting. I think I always say that I accept a lot and like I'm happy with everything, but most of the time I get so angry about things that I just can't accept. So I think this is something I would really focus this year.
What about you, Harry? What if you could work on any part of your mental health right now? What would you work on?
I'm similar, I think, to Sofya in a sense that like I need to talk to people, I need to interact with people, I always need to be around people. And when I'm not, and when I stop, I tend to get quite anxious. And I think that that's something that I'm trying to work on. It's been pretty hard, and I tend to sometimes I'm not doing a very good job at it at the moment, but it's something that I'm trying to actively work on, is being comfortable being by myself.
It's like next level for me. Not ready for that yet.
Oh, it's pretty bad. I'm not doing it very successfully. Will can tell you that. Like I'm not.
It's a day-to-day thing. It's a day-to-day.
Yeah, it's not a very successful endeavor at the moment, but we're trying.
It doesn't have to be as well. It's a journey.
Yeah. What about you, Will?
I think this month, out of the last 12 to 24 months, has been one of my best months. Just with work, mentally, everything. I think I've been for a bit just proud of that. When I think of what I want to work on with my mental health, I think continue to develop my faith and my relationship with God. And I think that what I've noticed I sometimes in the past week have had the tendency to do is like there's so many cool things happening that I'm sort of getting too attached to like these worldly things rather than staying true to sort of my path and myself. I want to stay grounded, and I want to stay focused on how I can be the best version of myself rather than like pleasing others or doing things that maybe will make other people impressed. I want to come back to what's going to make me deep down happy. I think it's a lot about the process. So that would be my thing, just making sure I'm staying grounded and not getting too attached to these good things that are happening.
Thank you so much, Sofya, for coming on and sharing your experiences and being so open and authentic with us.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Harry, what was something that you took away from our conversation with Sofya?
I found it really interesting, the point of instructors being mean to students and that kind of view that they're projecting their own insecurities and their own experiences onto their students by calling them mean names and kind of being rude to them. And I think that it's important, and it taught me to remind myself to treat everyone with kindness and not take out my own actions on other people, because I might be going through something, but it's not fair for me to take that out on someone else and to kind of like be mean to them because I'm dealing with my stuff. Like I need to deal with it myself and not hurt other people in the process. And I think that's something that I really took away from that conversation with Sofya, and was a really important lesson that I'm learning. And I think everyone's learning, to make sure that they're not acting out irrationally because of their own problems.
And I think as well, sometimes it's, sort of easy to forget that the people you see have their own complex lives and things they're going through. So I definitely agree. I think as well, her point around faith, again, it's just something that I'm going to continue to reflect on and see how I can continue to strengthen that. So we're very excited. We have an amazing guest. We have an incredible guest coming next week. As every guest on our show, we have extremely talented people, and the one coming next week is no exception. So make sure you follow us at Really Mental Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and make sure you give us a 5 stars if you enjoyed this. We would also love to hear the stories and thoughts you have that are going on in your life. So please feel free to send us your stories, and we may include them in conversations with future guests. Have an incredible week, and we will see you next week.
Even when you lose all hope, you go deeper than you've gone. Hold on till you can't no more. It's really mental.
Hey everyone, we have a Really Mental show on the Amazon AMP app. We're going to be hosting live conversations with some of your favorite guests, including some of the ones on here. So make sure you go follow us on the Amazon AMP app at Really Mental, and we want you to know that no matter who you are, you're not alone. So hopefully we'll see you on Amazon AMP at 7 p.m. PT, 10 p.m. ET every Sunday. All right, see you then, beautiful human.
I just want to end this episode today, Will, by talking directly to the audience, saying if you guys are struggling, Will and I aren't professionals in this field. We're just telling our experiences through stories and kind of just sharing what we've been through. But if you are really struggling, we do highly suggest going to see a therapist and professional help, because they will be the ones that can really help you in your situation.
Of course, feel free to share your stories with us and DM us. We want to know what you're going through, but make sure you take the time to speak to a professional, because that's going to give you the most help. That said, we hope that these stories and the people we've spoken to can really help you on your journey to finding that right person, whether it's a therapist or that friend to talk to about it. Make sure you take the time to do that.